You've seen it on the menu at your favorite sushi restaurant. You've seen it on the shelf at that fancy new grocery store. And if you've been to Japan, you've probably even seen big barrels of it decorating many of the most famous Shinto shrines. But what is Japanese sake? Well, let's start off with the basics. Japanese sake is often called rice wine in English because one of its primary ingredients is rice, although we'll touch on that more in a minute. The word sake in Japanese is actually an all-encompassing word for all types of alcoholic beverages, so what people overseas often refer to as Japanese sake is actually called nihonshu in Japan, a word which literally means the alcohol of Japan. Japanese sake, or nihonshu, is a beverage which has been enjoyed in something close to its current form since at least the 15th century, when Buddhist monks were brewing it as a profitable little side hustle, although the ancestors of the current beverage have been being produced since far earlier times. According to modern Japanese law, nihonshu is a fermented and filtered alcoholic drink whose primary ingredients are rice inoculated with a special mold called koji, and water, and its alcohol percentage must be no higher than 22%, although these days it is more typically found somewhere between the 11 and 16% range, quite similar to your average red wine, in other words. Now, as I said a minute ago, nihonshu is commonly translated as rice wine in English, and this makes sense. Both beverages have flavor profiles highly influenced by their acid content, both are intimately connected to the terroir of the regions in which their ingredients are produced, and both are often enjoyed for the way that they pair with food. However, in terms of the actual production method, nihonshu is much more similar to beer in that its main ingredient is a cereal and thus needs a bit of special processing before it can be fermented. Rice does not naturally contain any fermentable sugars, and so we rely on the help of the koji mold to convert its abundance of starch into sugar, which yeast can then turn into alcohol. The mold is inoculated onto a batch of rice and then combined with more rice, high-quality water, and yeast in a small tank, where the yeast begins its work. From this point, additional amounts of rice, mold-inoculated koji rice, and water are then added 3 more times in larger and larger quantities, and saccharification and fermentation continue until the master brewer at last decides the mash is ready. The mash is pressed to remove its solids, and the delicious liquid which emerges is then filtered and pasteurized before being bottled and sent to market. This brewing process typically happens in the winter because the lower temperature makes it easier to cool large amounts of freshly steamed rice, as well as prevent unwanted bacteria from entering the equation, but also because many breweries have historically, and even still today, relied on the labor of farmers who are freed up from their growing season. Nihonshu comes in a wide variety of flavor profiles, ranging from dry and savory to sweet and fruity, and it can be enjoyed both chilled, heated, and pretty much everywhere in between. While the majority of people probably enjoy their nihonshu with traditional Japanese cuisine, you may also be surprised to learn that it matches great with a bunch of different food options from all around the globe, thanks to its extremely wide variety and complexity of potential flavors. Our company,南部美人, has been brewing nihonshu here in the city of Ninohe in northern Japan for more than a century, and today our products have been sold in more than 50 different countries around the world. If you're interested in getting into nihonshu, look us up online or ask about us at your local liquor store. Our main series of sakes, which includes award winners such as our Junmai Daiginjo, which took home first place in 2018's sake competition, and our Tokubetsu Junmai, which was selected as the best nihonshu in the world at 2017's International Wine Challenge, are a great place to start for anyone looking to begin their journey with this wonderful beverage. If you're really looking to have an adventure, you can come visit us here in beautiful northern Japan to tour our historic brewery and see how the sake is made. We have staff members fluent in both English and Chinese and are always thrilled to welcome visitors from overseas. Until next time, kanpai!